I think it's really unfortunate that we still have to have such conversations about having, a passport from a country that is member of the same club as we are, NATO, EU. We didn't have any single final conviction in high-level corruption. This is not normal. I mean, corruption has been, skyrocketing.
Започна ли робосната акција против корумпираните обвинители и суди?
No, I don't think there is action against, corrupt judges and prosecutors.
Пензискиот систем е стабилен во оваа смисла. Граѓаните не треба да имаат никаква загриженост околу редовната исплата на пензиите. А трансферите кон вториот столб се во вредност од 250 милиони годишно. На еден вработен во бизнис секторот имаме еден корисник.
Нашата музика е таква да ти увек треба да го пееш тоа што го живееш, ама да си искрен, да не си лажгот.
Слаткар, дали живееме по принципот купи ден, продај?
Купи саат. Не ни ден, али углавно не би пеел ако немам за што да пеам.
Започна ли робосната битка против корумпираните обвинители и суди? Подигнати ли се меѓуетничките односи по палењето на македонското знаме во центарот на Скопје? Во ова издание на Тренинг мој соговорник ќе биде вице-премиерот за добро владење Арбен Фетаи. Господин Фетаи, ви благодарам што ја прифативте поканата за интервју. Во Македонија сте и на оваа позиција речиси 6 месеци.
Да, тачно.
Пред да дојдете тука, долги години сте живееле во Белгија. Што беше мотивот да дојдете во земјава и да бидете вице-премиер за добро владење? Дали блискоста со Таравари или клучната улога за ваше ангажирање тука беше блискоста со Албин Курти?
I will respond in English, as agreed. I think it's both. As you said, I've been living in Belgium since '89, but I had interruptions. I came to work in Kosovo back in 2004 until 2009. I spent a few years in Pristina and got engaged politically with Vetvendosia, the movement of Albin Kurti, after which I went back to Belgium, where I continued living and working. And I got also very involved with the Alliance for the Albanians from the beginning of the party's existence, meaning in 16, 17, when it comes to my engagement. And of course, I became very close with Arben Taravari. Obviously, the main reason why I decided to come back was this positive momentum.
Кога велите дека сега е моментот, во однос на отворање на европската перспектива на Македонија кон Европската унија, дали чувствувате во овој момент подготвеност дека во скоро време ќе се спроведат уставните промени кои се клучниот услов за деблокада на македонскиот пат?
I think we have a very clear understanding within the coalition that without the constitutional amendments, we will not be able to open accession talks. Now we are discussing about the modalities of how we do that and how we basically achieve this or make this last step that will allow us to open accession talks. As I was saying, I think there is understanding in the coalition that we have the opportunity to open and close negotiations for our membership to the European Union within one government term, which is a tremendous opportunity which we need to take. I think in the next weeks and months we will see, depending on how the engagement will go with Brussels, with Sofia, on the proposals that have been put on the table by the Prime Minister and by the government, we will see progress and we will see an unlocking of the...
Постојат ли конкретни идеи, предлози за да се деблокира македонскиот пат во однос на спроведувањето на уставните промени?
The main idea that is on the table is the suspensive entry into force of the constitutional amendments after the ratification of the adhesion agreement. This is what's on the table. This is what's being discussed with international partners. Today, the Prime Minister is in Brussels, where he will meet the President of the European Council, the new Commissioner for Enlargement.
Сметате дека во Брисел постои расположение за ова ваше барање?
I think we are in a dialogue. We are in a dialogue, and I think we will be able to find an innovative solution so that we achieve this last step. Basically, we make that last step and can follow with the formal opening of accession talks.
Во македонската јавност тензиите во мултиетничките влади има иста реторика. СДСМ вели дека е жртва на политичко-партиската мајоризација на ДУИ во владата, ДУИ пак вели дека влен се слуги на Мицковски. Зошто овие внатрепартиски превирања во албанскиот блок всушност до некој степен создаваат и подгреваат мултиетнички тензии во земјата?
I think DUI has been having problems basically understanding that they are in opposition and that they need to use this opportunity to reform themselves. They've been trying to keep a grasp on power. They have been, making concessions even during the whole negotiation process on the formation of the new government. We know, and it has been confirmed now by multiple sources who were involved in those negotiations, that they offered to join the government with Romero de Permanei with one minister less than we have as Vlen coalition, without the Speaker of Parliament. DUI at any cost is trying to stick to power, to keep themselves in the system, so that basically they avoid, or let's say they try to avoid at least the responsibility that they need to take for mismanagement, for corruption, for crime of the last 22 years when they've been in power. I think we see every day, or we read news about specific cases where DUI officials are among the persons who are suspected of involvement in corruption scandals, in mismanagement, in abuse with state funds.
Кој ги иницираше нередите во Македонија? Вие директно прстот го вперивте на почеток дека зад нередите во Скопје стои поранешниот вице-премиер Артан Груби. Тој ги демантираше овие информации. Но дали зад овие насилства во центарот на Скопје имаат замешателство луѓе на Албин Курти или пак блиски соработници на Вучич?
No, not at all. I don't know where, your thinking comes from here. I think it was very clear that the people who were involved in the burning of flags were, unfortunately, people belonging to the structures of DUI. We demonstrated that with pictures. The people who are accused of burning the flag are people who were involved with the electoral campaign of Bujar Osmani, the parliamentary campaign.
Имате докази?
They are on pictures. We showed the pictures of one of the young man who was manipulated, probably, and instead of celebrating the Albanian flag day, ended up burning Macedonian flags.
Господин Фетаи, вие сте во влада во која министерка за образование Весна Јаневска вели УЧК и нејзините символи за оваа држава не значат ништо. Дали ова не е директна негација за слободарскиот дух и мотивите за поголема рамноправност на албанците во Македонија?
I think that was an unfortunate statement. I posted last night a statement myself after the Minister of Education gave that interview, where I said, in essence, that the shows that we saw in Aerodrome with kids dressed as committee, shows in the municipality of Brvenica where Albanian kids were dressed as UČK soldiers with arms, are unfortunate. Kids should go to school to learn, and kids should play. They shouldn't be dressed like soldiers, yet alone with arms. However, what I said also in my post is that The Albanian National Liberation Army is our pride. It is a movement that belonged to the people. All Albanians in this country supported that struggle, which was a struggle for equality. It was a struggle for everyone to get the respect they deserve as an equal citizen of this country. It is part of our national identity and it is our pride. We do respect, on the other hand, that committee are part of Macedonian national history and that our fellow citizens are proud of the committee history. But one shouldn't go against the other. We all have, we are a multi-ethnic society.
Господин Фетаи, имате двојно државјанство, македонско и белгиско. Вашата колешка, министерката за енергетика, се исплаши од како се обелодени дека има бугарски пасош. Во времето на владењето на Дуи, ти има министер Насер Нуредини, исто така кој живее и работи во Виена, а е зет на познат член на академијата, исто така со двојно државјанство. Зошто тогаш се прави толку голема фама во домашната јавност и обиди да се создаде заплашување на домашната јавност од некаква си бугаризација со тоа што ќе ги внесе бугарите во уставот?
I don't think there is anything shameful in having a nationality of a member state of the European Union or of NATO, for that matter. I think in our country, unfortunately, things are politicized, and especially in relation to Bulgaria, because of the situation we are in now when it comes to the relation between Sofia and us. I think it's really unfortunate that we still have to have such conversations about having a passport from a country that is member of the same club as we are, NATO, EU. We belong there, and I don't see any issues with having dual nationalities. If it was a Russian citizenship, then I would raise questions because it's a country that is not friendly to us.
Следите тренинг, разговарам со вице-премиерот за добро владење Арбен Фетаи. Господине Фетаи, започна ли робосната акција против корумпираните обвинители и суди?
No, I don't think there is action against, corrupt judges and prosecutors. I think as a government we have, our own role. We are a separate power. As is the judiciary and the legislative. I think what we are doing as a government is to start, and we've been saying this from the beginning of this mandate, and it's part of the coalition agreement, a systematic and systemic reform of the judiciary. We know that this judiciary doesn't get trust from anyone. We know the figure of the 2% trust in the judiciary. We've also seen since the beginning of this government, almost 6 months now, that dozens, hundreds of cases that have been put forward by the Ministry of Internal Affairs, the Financial Police, other instances of the executive are not progressing. They are being held in the prosecution system, and that needs to change. We will start, as you know, with a reform agenda and the government program, the new law on the Judicial Council and the Council of Prosecutors. And I believe that, the things that have been initiated will naturally kind of ensure that corrupt prosecutors, corrupt judges will leave the system because they won't be able to fit basically in how the new laws, the new systemic laws will arrange those respective bodies. And I think now we will start seeing accountability, we will start seeing that cases will be progressing in the judiciary system, and that those who have been responsible for high-level corruption will start being held accountable.
Точна е констатацијата во јавноста дека е ниска довербата во македонското правосудство, но дали со закани и со притисок врз судиите и обвинителите ќе се врати довербата во македонскиот правосуден систем. До вчерашната претседателка на судскиот совет директно ја прозва владата и премиерот дека вршат притисок врз работењето на телото кое именува и разрешува суди.
I think we're talking about the same president of the Judicial Council who was dismissed under the previous government. DUI utilized their people in the Judicial Council to dismiss that president of the Judicial Council because of the Mialkov cases, if you remember, as a way to protect the people in the system that are affiliated to DUI and who were protecting Mialkov and all the other cases of high-level corruption from their government. I think it's quite unfortunate that the president of the Judicial Council resigns and make that coming out, which was political. It was deeply political, when she had only a few days left. I think her term was ending on the 5th of December. She resigned yesterday, which is 3 days before the end of her term. I think it was a show, unnecessary show.
Дали со оваа политика на заплашување на судиите и обвинителите всушност не постои опасност од враќање на времето на кога добивавме квалификација од меѓународните партнери за заробена држава?
No, I don't think we are there. I don't think we are facing the same risks. I think a lot has been done with support from the international partners, and I'm thinking especially the European Union and the United States of America. There is a clear set of recommendations that we need to follow. We have the 40 recommendations from the European Union.
Дали обстојувате на ставот дека треба да се распушти судскиот совет и советот на обвинители?
Well, I think, this is going to happen because the terms of members are progressively ending. So there will be a renewal in the ranks of the Judicial Council. The same will apply to the Council of Prosecutors. And we will see slowly that those who have been responsible of basically impunity. Let's remember that in 2023 and in 24 for that matter, because we are in the same situation, we didn't have any single final conviction in high-level corruption. This is not normal. Corruption has been, skyrocketing. Everybody agrees that we have a huge corruption problem in North Macedonia, yet nobody ends up in jail. So that means that somebody is protecting those people, which are often, unfortunately, high-level politicians, officials.
Вице-премиере, кој ги штити судиите и обвинителите?
They are protecting each other, I think. They are protecting each other. There are some elements in the judiciary system and in the prosecutorial system which are corrupt. We know that the system, is unfortunately infected by the plague of corruption. I've been saying often that, unfortunately to say again, many people in the judiciary system, in the prosecution, are part of the problem, not of the solution. Those people, I think, slowly will start leaving the system because they won't fit in the way that the new laws will organize the system.
Вице-премиере, на местото на постојните членови на судскиот совет треба да дојдат наши луѓе. Рече во едно телевизиско гостување премиерот Мицковски. Дали ова не е директно мешање на извршната во судската власт?
No, I think we are clear that we will follow the principles of meritocracy, professionalism when it comes to the reform of the Judiciary Council and of the Prosecutorial Council. I haven't seen that statements, I must be honest, but we are very clear that meritocracy will be the basis of everything we will be pushing when it comes to the legislative agenda. We are not the ones who are choosing prosecutors and judges, yet we will put in place criteria through the new laws that will ensure that those who are corrupt and who are responsible for the impunity and immunity for politicians that we have seen over the last few years will not be able to stay in the system.
Како зборувате дека ќе се залагате за професионални кадри во судскиот совет кога до неодамна протуркавте човек да стане член на судскиот совет кој е близок до вице-премиерот Изет Меджити?
But I mean, it's easy to take, just one example. I think in the past, myself in opposition with my party, the Alliance for the Albanians, we have mapped out people in the judiciary and in the prosecution. There are dozens, hundreds of people who are close to DUI and SDSM. Dozens. There are people who are, former ministers, former members of parliament, sons of DUI politicians or SDSM politicians, daughters, nephews, nieces. You remember the case of the son of Talat Jaferi, who managed to go to the academy without having his license as a lawyer. So I think this will need to change. This will need to be addressed. We will need to stick to the criteria of meritocracy and professionalism, and as much as possible hold to account, according to the legislation we have, those judges and those prosecutors that haven't been doing their work properly, those who have been responsible for delays in specific high-level corruption cases, so that people responsible for those cases manage to reach the statute of limitations, and the accusations against them had fell, basically. So there are procedures that allow that, yet there wasn't will in the Council of Prosecutors, in the Council, in the Judicial Council, to follow the procedures and to follow the recommendations that have been made by international partners when it comes to disciplinary measures, when it comes to advancement of judges and prosecutors. I say often, on paper we have excellent laws and policies and strategies. The problem with us and in the region, with a few exceptions, is that those pieces of legislation, those policies are not implemented because there isn't will, because people are protecting each other, so that this, system that is extremely corrupt, extremely clientelist, extremely criminalized, keeps on going like that because people are there to watch for each other's back.
Господин Фетаи, толку ли се исплашивте од заканите? До вас па побаравте засилување на обезбедувањето и расчистување на случајот поврзан со вас и со заканите кон вас. Дали е расчистен случајот? Еве ќе прочитам една дел од таа закана, кај што меѓу другото смрт за шиптарите. За тебе куршум во глава, Шипо Фетаи.
This is, another problem we have as a society. I think this extreme polarization and fascist shows like this one have been accepted too often by politicians. Politicians haven't been reacting. We saw, on the other hand, the last couple of weeks with what we discussed at the beginning, that this government has a completely different stance. Anyone who burns a flag, whether it is the state flag, the Macedonian flag, or the Albanian flag, is being held accountable equally. This is a new standard that never existed before. The same goes for such threats. This is a threat to my life, but it's also hate speech, as you just read out the message that I received. Such language is not normal in a country like ours, in a country in Europe or anywhere in the world. It is not normal language. This shouldn't be tolerated, and this will not be tolerated going forward within our government. On the specific case, I'm not afraid. I'm a politician. I know that sometimes you say things that not everybody likes, and that there are crazies out there who will do such things, who will threaten like this, and who might even take additional steps.
Благодарам за издвоеното време и разговорот за емисијата Тренинг.
Благодарам на вас.